When rule of law does not apply to the most powerful, then it is not rule of law, it is warlordism.
Right, so would you go after George W. Bush over what Kofi Annan called the illegal invasion of Iraq?
But the US is not a member.
The US is not a member.
I cannot.
The United Kingdom is a member.
United Kingdom, yeah. And
so would you prosecute Tony Blair?
If I have crimes to do, and if two conditions: crimes committed and they are not conducting proceedings.
Well, then you can't touch George W. Bush over Iraq. That's what you're saying. Is it? How are you an international criminal court if you can't go over three of the most powerful nations in the world?
It's a beginning.
It doesn't embarrass you, just come back to an earlier issue we were discussing, it doesn't embarrass you when the judge and the prosecutor issue these warrants, issue these summons, all of the people over the last 14 years have all been from the continent of Africa.
No.
That doesn't bother you at all? Not from anywhere else?
When you have crimes, you have victims and criminals. The victims are Africans,
but
the criminals are Africans.
Everybody learned a lesson, including the US. The US started out by opposing the establishment of the ICC, and then the US learned that it could take advantage of the ICC. It had the political power, and the ICC had a leader who was amenable to working with the strongest power in the world. Let's say Mr. Ocampo was being realistic. That's a generous description of it. This is what the US learned. African countries also learned that this was not rule of law. This was the rule of the most powerful. And since they had no protection, they were vulnerable. First, I would acknowledge that political violence requires a political solution. The violence of civil wars is political violence. Second thing is criminal violence. Criminal violence is something that needs a court, but a court cannot exist without a viable political system. A viable political system is one which will hold everybody accountable. The problem that we have globally today is that we don't have a global political system which holds the most powerful players accountable.
That's why what we invented.
So this is the nut that has to be cracked.
Okay.
If you put the cart before the horse, then the court is going to be a kangaroo court.